Hello students, welcome back to Social Studies class. My name is Abhishek Pratap Singh and today we will just continue our last topic of SST, that is the Southern Plateau. Okay, before starting our topic, let's recall that what we have learned in our last lesson or in our last class, so that after reading this or after watching this video, you can just have a broad idea about this lesson. So first of all, we need to discuss the last learning of our last video. Okay, if you have not watched the video, please go and watch it. After that, we will go to check out its geographical location of Southern Plateau on India's map. Okay. After that, we will going to read about its life in the Southern Plateau, that which kind of life people are living in Southern Plateau. So students, let's move there and start our students. Let's recall that what we have learned in our last class. So this is the first page of our lesson. To the south of the northern plain lies the vast Southern Plateau, and as you can see in the map, it is triangular in shape, as lies in the southern part of India, which is triangular in shape, covers a large part of India, and the land here is rocky and uneven. So the Southern Plateau is bordered by the following four locations, that are the Aravalli range on the northwest. Okay, we will see that with the help of map. The Raj Mahal Hills on the northeast, the hilly region called the Eastern Ghats on the east side, and the hilly Western Ghats on the west. And this whole Southern Plateau is being divided by that is a Narmada Valley. The Narmada Valley divides the Southern Plateau into two parts. To the north is the Central Highlands and to the south is the Deccan Plateau. So we are going to look at these plateaus too and these locations with the help of map. Now students, as you can see that I have zoomed in the map of India, and it's the southern part of it, that is the Southern Plateau. So I was telling you that Southern Plateau is bordered by four locations, that is, first one is Aravalli range is here, and the second one, which is Raj Mahal Hills, which is located on the east side of the Southern Plateau. And after that, when you will move downwards, you can see that from here, this part, this coastal area, like it's a western part, from it is bordered by the Western Ghats, and on the east side, it is bordered by the Eastern Ghats. Okay, and the Narmada Valley, which is passing somewhere from here, which is dividing this whole plateau, means the Southern Plateau, into two other plateaus, that is the Central Highlands. Here you can see like it will be visible on your screen if you look at properly, and then here it is a Deccan Plateau. Okay, so this is all Highland and the Deccan Plateau. And if you move more into this Central Highlands, you can see few places. Malwa Plateau, Chota Nagpur plateaus are there, a part of the Central Highland. And if you move here to this, the Deccan Plateau, you can see Nagpur, or you can see, now let's discuss the Central Highlands, and you know that there are two more other plateaus come under Central Highland, that is Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau. So the Malwa Plateau lies between the Aravalli Hills and the Vindhya Hills. Okay, it lies between these two hills. It includes a part of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and some important cities in the region of Gwalior, Indore, and Bhopal. Okay, so it includes these cities parts as well. Now the Chota Nagpur Plateau includes much of Jharkhand and the parts of Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh. It is rich in minerals like coal, iron, mica, and manganese. Okay, so these kinds of minerals we get from this Chota Nagpur Plateau. Important coal mines are present in Girid. Okay, Girid, which is in Bihar, Jharia in Jharkhand, and the Raniganj which is in West Bengal. Two of India's largest steel plants are located in Bokaro and Bhilai. Okay, so we have here two India's largest steel plant also. Panna in Madhya Pradesh has a diamond mines. Okay, and in Madhya Pradesh, by the name of Panna's location, we have a diamond mine. Many parts of the Chota Nagpur Plateau are covered with the forest, from which we get different kind of wood and other forest products. And maximum part of the Chota Nagpur Plateau is covered with the forest, from where we get the forest product and different kind of woods. So now students, after reading about the Central Highland, now let's see about the Deccan Plateau. So look at the large area of south of the Satpura mountains, and there is a Deccan Plateau is bound by the western and the eastern parts, and it covers the main parts of Madhya Pradesh. The Deccan Plateau covers the main part of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So these are the states which comes under the area of Deccan Plateau. There are a number of rivers in the area. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri flows from west to east and fall into the Bay of Bengal. And this is because most of the land in the Deccan Plateau slopes from west to east. So the slope of the area in the Deccan Plateau is from east to west, means this kind of slope is here. That's why most of the river flows from west to east side. The Narmada and Tapi rivers flows from east to west and fall into Arabian Sea. Now these two rivers have a opposite flow and they falls into the Arabian Sea. The rivers in the Deccan Plateau are not fed by the melting of snow like rivers of the northern plains. So the rivers in the northern plains, which is in the North India, they are all fed by the melting of snow. Okay, these all are maximum of these rivers are originated from the mountain area or the hilly areas, but they are fed by the rain. So the rivers in the southern part or in the southern plateau are fed by the rain. Therefore, they have very little water during the summer months. That's why they have very little water during the summer months. And they only, so its rainfall is not good, means if the rainfall is not very good, they may even dry up during the summers. So the rivers can be dried up also. Such rivers are called seasonal rivers, and those rivers, these kinds of rivers are called seasonal rivers because they get water. Now, since after reading about the two plateaus, that are the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau, let's talk about the life in the Southern Plateau, that what kind of life people have in Southern Plateau. So, the Southern Plateau region covers a vast area and hence the climate and soil vary from place to place. As we know that the Southern Plateau covers of the large area, and that's why the climate varies from place to place. It means that it keeps on changing from place to place as you will move to the different part of this plateau. And the soil also varies, means soil also keeps on changing, means if you move to different region you will get a different kind of soil, means the color and the texture of soil will keep on changing. The region experiences heavy rainfall. So this region, the Southern Plateau, experiences heavy rainfall. However, the climate is moderate in this region. So, and the climate of this region is moderate, means not very high, not very cold. It's neither too hot nor too cold. Okay, means it's bearable. Okay, sometimes you can feel cold and sometimes you can feel hot. Okay, so it's like moderate. First one is Maharashtra. Maharashtra is located in the northwest part of the Deccan Plateau. Okay, and its capital is Mumbai, an important trade and industrial center, and it is a very important for the trade and industrial centers because there we have a lot of industries set up and they are working well as well. So Mumbai is also the biggest center for film production in India, and as we all know that Bollywood or the big production house, the film production house, that is Bollywood, is located in Mumbai only. Some other important cities of Maharashtra are Pune, Nasik, Nagpur, Aurangabad and Solapur. So these are the few other cities of Maharashtra. Those are Pune, Nasik, Nagpur, Aurangabad and Solapur. After that, Godavari and Krishna are two important rivers in the state. So these are two rivers which are passing from Mumbai, okay, or from Maharashtra. Now Maharashtra is the largest producer of cotton and the second largest producer of sugarcane. Now what happened here? Like they are the largest producer of cotton and the second largest producer of sugarcane in India. And the state also produces fruits such as grapes, oranges, mangoes, bananas. The oranges of Nagpur are very famous. Okay, so the oranges of city Nagpur is very famous. Textiles, automobiles and electronics are some important industries in Maharashtra. So we have few industries there. Okay, means these are very popular there. Now Tamasha, a kind of a dance drama, is very popular in this state. So this kind of dance is very much popular all over the state in Maharashtra. The traditional clothes of men are dhoti and shirts. So the dresses of the men in Maharashtra is like they wear the dhoti, means they tie dhoti, and they wear the shirt with a cap called the Gandhi topi, and they wear the cap also, which they call the Gandhi topi. The women wear the saris which are tied in a special way. So the way of wearing saris of Maharashtra women is a bit special. Okay. Now Marathi is the common language. The most popular festival in the state is Ganesh Chaturthi, and their most popular festival is Ganesh Chaturthi, which is of Maharashtra. So now students, after reading about the Maharashtra, let's read about the Karnataka. So towards the south of Maharashtra lies Karnataka. Okay, means the south side of Maharashtra there is a Karnataka, and its capital is Bangalore, and it's called the Garden City. And as you know, the capital Bangalore is also called the Garden City. Mysore, Hubli, and Dharwad are the other important cities of Karnataka, and there are few other cities which are important in Karnataka. Krishna, Kaveri are two other important rivers in the state, and here we have two more important rivers that is Krishna and Kaveri. The state is leading producer of coffee, teak, and sandalwood. These are kind of woods, and is well known for its forest product, and we get a lot of different forest product from the forest of Karnataka. Now, Bangalore is the biggest software development center in India, as we all call it Silicon Valley as well. And some of the other important industries in Karnataka are aeroplane, watches, electronic goods, and silk. So we have these kind of industries for aeroplane, watches, electronic goods, and silk. Most of the gold mine in India comes from the Kolar gold mines in Karnataka, and our country's maximum gold come from this Kolar gold mine, which is in Karnataka. The people of Karnataka speaks Kannada, and the man mostly wear lungis and shirt. So the dressing style for men is like they wear lungis and shirt as like in Maharashtra only. And yes, as I have told you that it has a biggest software development center. Now the Bangalore is also famous for its software developing units. And the women of Karnataka wear saris. Dasara, Ugri, and Shivaratri are important festivals. We have three important festivals of Karnataka, that is Ugadi, Shivaratri, and Dasara. The many beautiful temples and historical monuments in the state is Vrindavan Gardens in Mysore, and the Jog Falls are the tourist attraction of Karnataka. So students, this is all for today's class or today's video. Okay, we are going to just cover the rest part of lesson in our next class. Till that time, please stay safe. Keep learning, keep watching videos, and thank you so much for watching the video.